Sherlock Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, what is it?
Hurry, Smithers. There's not a moment to lose. That daredevil's life is at stake. 500 feet above the ground, a steel-nerved aerial artist risked his life to perform. But his narrow tightrope wire was safer than the fate planned for him below when Sherlock Holmes raced to unravel the mystery of the doomed Daredevil. As the famed Sherlock Holmes and his colleague, ex-police sergeant Smithers, stroll through Park Mall. "Smithers, my good fellow, you and I should spend more time out in the open air." "That's a good one coming from you, Mr. Holmes. Why, you spend more time curled up over old police reports trying to find flaws in the cases." "Perhaps so, Smithers. Hey, what's that?" "That vehicle. It was sliding as if the roadway was made of ice."
"Good grief!"
Quickly, the pair rescued the stunned driver and... "Steady, old fellow. You've got a bad time of it."
"The wheel just spun in my hand. I couldn't control the car."
"It's no wonder you had no control over the car. The road is saturated with oil."
"Hello. Someone seems to have gotten pictures of the whole thing, Mr. Holmes."
"I'm Ted Jenks, news cameraman. I was lucky enough to catch the whole thing on film. Maybe my pictures will help prove your case if you wish to sue."
I don't know.
"I just happened to be passing by and saw it all. Could I have your name, please? And you'll be in the papers and newsreels."
Paul Carter. I've heard of that chap. He's quite famous for getting sensational news pictures. I say, I hardly liked the carefree manner in which he treated that poor victim."
"Yes, Smithers. But perhaps when one deals with front-page catastrophes for a livelihood, accidents seek to shock them. The most fascinating profession, filming shocking events, eh, Smithers? Perhaps we should see more of this chap's work."
"Why, his pictures are in the newsreel shots all over town. Why not, Mr. Holmes?"
Thus, that evening, the ace sleuth watches with keen interest at a newsreel theater in town.
"And now, exclusive films of the Northern Comet Rail accident by crack newsman Ted Jenks."
Here we go.
"Yesterday, at 8:15 a.m., the Northern Comet headed north to Boston. As it neared switch 24, the Southern Express approached. Suddenly, the switch jammed. With a screech of brakes, the Comet roared towards the oncoming train. And split seconds later, these remarkable films show the two colossuses of the rails colliding."
Whoa! Shortly, as the pair leave the theater,
"Great Scott, Mr. Holmes. That fellow Jenks certainly knows his work. I've never seen such astonishing films."
"Yes, indeed. The young chap has a most remarkable knack for finding the perfect angle to film his scoop calamities. Now, Smithers, why do you suppose one fellow is so gifted to locate such remarkable scoops where others fail?"
"A nose for news, I suppose they'd call it, Mr. Holmes."
"Yes, I suppose they would. Hello. The town's in for a thrill tomorrow. Suppose we take it in, Smithers. My curiosity is aroused regarding the filming of these news events."
"Right, Mr. Holmes, but I can't exactly see your sudden interest in all this."
That night, as the ex-sergeant stays at the quarters of the famous overseas sleuth.
"Never seen Mr. Holmes act so morbid. Been poring over those newspaper pictures of accidents half the night. I say, Mr. Holmes, why not toddle on to bed and forget those grim pictures? Bad for the mind, you know."
"Pop off to sleep, Smithers. I'm just getting interested in my new hobby." And the next day, as the pair reach Valley Gulch.
"Ought to be a law against a man risking his life like this. Grim business. Grim business."
"So it is, Smithers. But it takes all kinds to make a world." It looks like our ace news cameraman Jenks down below. He seems to have chosen to film up at our Daredevil instead of from the top here. Let's go down below. Smithers, such an expert should know the best angle to witness the event." Shortly, when the pair reach the bottom of the canyon,
"The poor devil's starting out, Mr. Holmes. Don't like this a bit. Not a bit."
"Quiet, Smithers. That's odd." Suddenly, the master sleuth's eyes snap with alarm as, "Great Caesar, of course."
What's wrong, Mr. Holmes?"
"I've got to stop him. That hay truck."
"Mr. Holmes, have you gone balmy?"
Abruptly, before the stunned eyes of onlookers.
"Hey there, well, why, it's Sherlock Holmes."
"Pardon me, my good man. An emergency action." Seconds later, the alert manhunter speeds the truck into position below the tightrope. Inch by inch, the Daredevil moves across the wire, unaware of the drama below. Suddenly, a fearful twang cuts the canyon as the tightrope snaps. Down plummets the steel-nerved performer as, "It's got to be perfect." Then,
"Great heavens, he's saved! It was a miracle!"
and moments later, "Wow, that was sensational! What a movie it will make!" Indeed it will, but you won't be attending any movies to see it, Jenks. You'll be in jail for attempted murder.
"Mr. Holmes, what's this all about?"
I don't care if he is Sherlock Holmes. He's crazy, and I'll sue him for that crack. Hardly, Mr. Jenks. Give me that camera. Jenks' gun with the silencer shot that wire from under the Daredevil. You see, gentlemen, every one of his scoops have been rigged by himself.
Good grief, he created his own catastrophes.
And afterward, as the master sleuth explains to officials, trampled underneath by the bush near the park accident, convinced me he had waited there, not stumbled upon the accident as he claimed. Once my suspicions were aroused, I checked dozens of his films and found in each case he had filmed them from the perfect vantage point. Such a coincidence could not be.
"But Mr. Holmes, how did you know that gun was in his camera?"
Quite simple, my dear Smithers. When I saw him pointing his camera here, away from the performer, I turned my field glasses on him and saw his camera buck from the gun's recoil as he fired the rope.
"Whew, Mr. Holmes, this sure clears up a pack of accidents."